Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Worried Prize 5387, posted to r/relationship advice, July 7th, 2025. My girlfriend, 21 female, and my brother, 20 male, are soulmates. My girlfriend, 21 female, and I, 21 male, have been dating for about 7 months now. We both used to work at the same restaurant, and I asked her out. I've always felt like we were very different people, but that's what I liked about our relationship. I feel like I'm always learning something by being around her, and try my best to indulge in her interests. 7 months ago, I introduced her to my family, and they all seemed to like her. Especially my brother, 20 male. I didn't really think much of it, and was happy to see them get along since I'm very close to my brother. But I've realized over time that they just fit way better with each other. They both have the same interests in movies, books, music, sports, foods, you name it. Although my girlfriend was hesitant at first about it, I encouraged her to go for things alone with my brother if it wasn't something I was really into, and they both had a great time. And I know just having the same hobbies sounds trivial, but it's also their personalities. They're both very free-spirited and adventurous, and I can't help but notice that they look so much happier with each other than with me. Sometimes I feel really out of place around them, as if I'm not supposed to be there. But I swear this is not out of jealousy. I genuinely think they're better for each other. I love both of them, and if this is what makes them happy, then I'd rather they date each other and let me move out of their way. I'm not exactly sure how to execute this or talk about this with either of them, though. How do I go about setting them up? Top comments. Commenter 1. Your brother shaped you as well. You apparently connect well with people like him and like your girlfriend. So it's no wonder she's very much into you and possibly would be less into your brother than you think. Commenter 2. You gotta work on your self-esteem. What you'll learn eventually is that someone being attracted to you is not up to you, and no one who is attracted to you is going to want to hear you try to explain why they're wrong. If you trust a partner, part of that involves trusting their judgment about being with you. Oh, and stop sending them on dates! That's weird! Commenter 3. This post is equal parts selfless and heartbreaking. I really respect your maturity and self-awareness, but I think you're being too quick to write yourself out of your own relationship. You say they're soulmates, but your girlfriend chose you, not him. That matters. Shared interests aren't everything. Chemistry, emotional connection, and commitment also play huge roles. You're viewing their bond through a lens of comparison rather than focusing on what you two have built. Instead of trying to set them up, maybe have a vulnerable, honest conversation with your girlfriend. Tell her how you've been feeling and ask how she feels about your relationship. You might be surprised. She might be with you because you bring something her bond with your brother doesn't. And please stop facilitating their time together like that. It's blurring boundaries and making things messier than they need to be. If things are meant to shift, they will, without you sacrificing yourself for it. Ultimately, don't martyr yourself. Love should be mutual. Don't give yours away without making sure it's still being returned. Commenter 4. Whoa, slow down. Your girlfriend probably has zero interest in your brother. People don't necessarily like being with someone like them. My husband is my polar opposite, thank God. And I would be absolutely miserable dating someone like me. I'm too annoying. Update, December 29th, 2025, 5.5. I almost said 5.5, 5. Oh my God. Months later. Update. My girlfriend, 21 female, and brother, 20 male, are soulmates. First of all, thank you to everyone who wrote nice, encouraging things and advice in my last post. I really appreciate it. I kind of got rid of this account after the post got too many views, but then randomly opened it yesterday to several messages about it being covered by Smosh. I'm a huge fan of them, by the way, so this was very surprising. I forgot that Smosh does that now. I should send them a cease and desist. I'm fucking kidding. They would drag my ass through the mud. I am incredibly happy for them, though, that they managed to rebuild everything after their MCN took full advantage of them. Good God. Anyway, I'll cut to the chase. After writing that post, I did a lot of introspection and self-reflection. I think a lot of people caught this, but I do indeed suffer from low self-esteem and struggle with low confidence. I don't want to acknowledge it, but it did get in the way of my relationships often. I'm a brutally honest man, and that is exactly what I did. I was very honest about all of this to my girlfriend. I didn't tell her that I thought my brother and her were soulmates, but I told her that sometimes I feel like I can't directly connect with her because we're so different. And what she said really changed my perspective on our relationship. She said that she loves that I'm different and compliment her in a way that completes her. She also expressed that she would want to get more involved in my hobbies. So the past few months, we've spent time doing random things together that we individually enjoy, and it's turned out great for us. She makes me really happy, and I try my best to make her life better too. I've also met her family now, and they're all lovely people as well. We still do things together with my brother, and it's also a good time. I think at the end of the day, the root of all of this was indeed my insecurity. It really wasn't about my brother, because I think I would have been insecure if it was a friend or really anyone else. Besides, it is true that I enjoy my brother's company because of the kind of person he is, so it has made sense for me to be with someone who's similar. It attributes more to the fact that she fits really well in my life. I've also come to realize that I was looking at this from a very trivial perspective. My girlfriend is so much more than her hobbies and interests, and there's so many other things about her that actually set her apart from other people in my life. Thanks again, everyone, for your advice. Apparently, I need to end this post with a question. Honestly, even though it was entirely misplaced, I do have a lot of respect for OP's brutal honesty in the terms of them not being an asshole, but them being brutally honest with themselves and willing to put two people's happiness in front of his own. That's commendable as hell. Misguided by a long shot, buddy, but still, it does mean that your heart is in the right place, and you want two people who you care about to be as happy as possible, even if it comes at the cost of your own happiness. I'm definitely glad that Reddit actually did a good and talked you down from that ledge and encouraged OP to, well, talk with their girlfriend and realize that, oh, yeah, wait a minute, we are two halves of a whole, and we do work really well together. Also, congrats on being with your girlfriend for a year. That's a good milestone. Take care, and stop putting her on dates with your brother. Come on, buddy. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. Original OP is luckiest, dash. Originally posted r/true off my chest December 3rd, 2025. My boyfriend gave my autistic son the best birthday ever. I, 25 female, am a single mom to Lewis, fake name, who just had his 6th birthday. My son also happens to be on the autism spectrum. He's high-functioning, but is still trying to navigate his everyday life with some difficulties. He has sensory issues, special interests, and he gets overstimulated in really crowded places. However, he's been slowly navigating his life and has been doing so much better as he gets older. Now that you have some background about him, I want to tell you about my boyfriend Jordan. Fake name. He's a heavy machinery mechanic who focuses mostly on farming equipment, but will also help out some construction businesses if they're in a pinch, and don't have a person for that already. Jordan owns his own business, which he runs out of his own house and garage. He lives on a big plot of land in the rural areas. He keeps livestock like chickens, ducks, goats, cows, but he doesn't farm them out. I personally don't understand how he has the time to do everything he does with us and work, but he's amazing. Lewis instantly took a liking to Jordan and vice versa. Lewis loves visiting the farm, as he calls it, and riding around with Jordan in his UTV. Lewis is super interested in building Lego and just working with his hands. He loves to follow Jordan in the garage and learn about cars, engines, tractors, balers, etc. Jordan has been an absolute godsend for Lewis. He's so careful with him. He even buys packs of gloves so Lewis doesn't need to worry as much about the sensory overload with grease and whatever else they come into the house covered with. Marry that man! Moving to this last month, Jordan told me he wanted to give Lewis the best possible birthday he could. I kind of brushed it off, as he'll get him a small gift like one of the cheap Lego sets or toy tractors. Nope. He walked us to the big garage and opened the door. This man went out of his way to get Lewis every single thing he could think of. He got Lewis 10 Lego sets and built him a freaking go-kart. This man spent well over $1,000 on my son. I know he makes a lot of money, but my jaw hit the floor. I instantly just dropped to the floor sobbing. I never expected anybody to be so caring about a little boy they didn't have to do anything for. Lewis was overjoyed. The first thing he did was yell, "Is that a go-kart? Can I ride in it with you, Jordan? Wait, are those Lego sets? You got me the Titanic set? I wanted that forever!" The look on Lewis's face was enough to last me a lifetime of happiness. Jordan did what nobody else has done for us without even asking. The look on Jordan's face was just pure excitement to see Lewis so happy. Of course, he told Lewis that the go-kart was his and that he can drive it as long as one of us sits with him until he learns how to drive it better. I'm sorry for all the rambling and maybe some of it was not coherent, but thank you to anyone who read this. I think I'm gonna buy this man a ring. Edit, I can't express how grateful I am for so many people to have read this and just how kind everyone is. You're all my friends now, and I hope whoever sees this gets nothing but joy from life. Update, December 29th, 2025. Hi everyone, I really wanted to make an update post, and I think now is the perfect time. If you're missing context, please check out the last post. I don't want to make it too long here. Thank you. After Lewis's birthday, me and him sat down to make a thank you card. I made sure Lewis wrote everything himself and told him to really think and make it personal. I also said make it as funny, creative, or whatever other adjective he could think of, but make sure it's nice. He did just that. We picked out a giant trifold poster board, his idea, and got all kinds of decorations and craft stuff. He spent days trying to make it perfect. We printed out pictures of Lewis and Jordan together and glued them on right next to all the drawings and writing he put. I even wrote my own little section where there was free space. I put down, "Thank you, Jordan, not just for all the gifts, all the dinners, movie nights, game nights, and even the guide time, as you two call it. Thank you for seeing Lewis for who he is and what he enjoys, and not what sets him back. I know he can't fully put into words how he feels sometimes, but believe me, he loves you more than you could know. You've replaced me as his best friend, and honestly, I couldn't be more grateful for that. You've made this past year a dream come true, even through the struggles. I love you." After we finally got the card to be up to standard, as the little bossman likes to say, we jumped in the car and headed over for a surprise visit. Jordan was having dinner with his parents, who we just absolutely adore. I think they treat us more like family than my own, lol. I already warned Jordan's parents we'd be popping in quick, so there was no unwanted intrusions. Anyways, we told the parents we were on our way and we'd sneak in. Well, we got caught trying to sneak a giant poster board past the windows. Jordan greeted us at the door and gave us hugs and me a kiss and let us in. We sat down and watched Jordan open his comically large letter. He opened it and started looking all across the cardboard. He sat reading with tears welling up and just muffled a "I love you guys too" before excusing himself to get a tissue. We proceeded to spend the night playing games, building Lego, and just hanging out with everyone. Now, on to the big change. We're moving in with Jordan. My lease is coming up for renewal in February. Jordan wrapped up a box with the house key to ask. Obviously, I jumped up with excitement, and I ran over and dove into his arms. He also gave Lewis his own key for his bedroom. He waited until I said yes to ask Lewis. Now, I hate to say Lewis is a little nervous and excited, but we're here so much anyways, and I feel like this is the first step to building a healthy future. We also wanted to make sure we could live together without problems before making any big steps. Anyways, now it's packing and donation times to clear out some of my old stuff and make room for new things. I'm so grateful for everything I have and everyone who reads/has read any part of this or the last post. I love each and every one of you and wish you all the best. Man, I don't even have words to talk about how good this post is. It's just incredibly endearing and makes my heart warm and fuzzy. Honestly, it wasn't even the birthday stuff that sold this man for being a great person for me. It was the fact that he was actively taking care and taking the time to care for Lewis's sensory issues and getting him gloves and just letting him explore and entertain his hyperfixations. That's already an incredible aspect of that and is just awesome. Then adding on top of it, just the fact that he's like, yeah, I'm in a privileged position. Let me just make this kid's birthday, like, infinitely better. That's just awesome. This post was collected by Lucy Aria Rose, and their tagline is, I'm keeping the garlic. The original OP is Unlucky Amoeba 2337. That is 20. Oh my god. Unlucky Amoeba 2473. Gotta love dyslexia. Posted in r/relationship advice. For those of you who may have heard this one before, there is actually an update to this one. But also, there are prequels. The first post was posted in r/Am I the Asshole 5 years ago. Well, 4.5. Am I the asshole for being strict on leaving at the time I said we were going to leave? My 23 female, boyfriend 25 male, has a history of being late and unprepared to pre-planned events/gatherings. Sometimes it can be annoying, but more often or not, it's really no big deal. Usually when he comes over, he'll say, I'll be over in an hour, and magically, that hour will turn to 3 hours. It happened on my birthday, when he said he'd be over at 10 a.m., and he wasn't over until noon. And again, when we were going to go out with friends, and 10 minutes before we were supposed to meet, he called to ask my opinion on a surfboard. He was at a sports store 30 minutes away. Though it can be a bit annoying, it's not like I have a time crunch, and it usually doesn't bother me, except for the following time. We took a trip to a place about a 6-hour drive from where we are. We were going to leave right after work around 6 p.m., but didn't leave until around 10 because he was simply late to come pick me up. It was one of the worst drives because we were both extremely tired. We had to stop at a rest stop to sleep for a couple hours. We woke up at 4 a.m. after awful uncomfy sleep in the back of his car, and my dog peed in the car while we were asleep. We got to our hotel that morning at 8:30 or 9 a.m. and slept basically through the day, taking away a whole day out of our vacation after a super stressful commute that was much longer than it needed to be, as well as wasted an entire day just to recover. Knowing this, we're going on a trip tomorrow where next week I have to work on site. But we are taking this weekend to vacation. However, this specific trip is known to have awful traffic. Sometimes getting through 26 miles of part of the stretch can take between 40 minutes and 4 hours if you go at the wrong time. He is aware of this. I told my boyfriend that we are leaving my place at 1 p.m. to beat traffic. I would want to go earlier, but I know he's not an early riser. At 1, we are not coming into my place to get some food or to bring things down to the car or to go to the bathroom. We are leaving my driveway at 1 exactly and no later. Earlier, if possible. When I said this, he got kind of annoyed and was passive-aggressive towards me for the rest of the conversation. I sensed this and told him about how much our last trip sucked because instead of traveling for 6 hours, we traveled almost 11 hours and then wasted a whole day sleeping it off. He said, yeah, he gets it, but that I'm making the trip stressful and it makes him not want to go at all. 4 hours of bumper-to-bumper traffic is so much worse than leaving on time, in my opinion. But he says I'm stressing him out by setting such a strict time with high expectations, which in his words, gives me asshole-like qualities. Am I the asshole for insisting we leave right at 1 o'clock? I could be the asshole because I didn't let him choose the time, but he originally wanted us to leave at midnight tonight. This isn't feasible because our Airbnb only checks people in from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., and I do not want to repeat the events of the last trip. Edit. My car is currently at the shop, so I would not be able to drive on my own this time. Usually, we do drive separately to things because we live 30 minutes away from each other, and it takes too much time to pick each other up. Edit 2. He does not have a set time he has to be at work. He works a salaried job, so as long as he puts in 40 hours and gets his stuff done, he can roll in at any time. Update to the Am I the Asshole post. Hi, I got a lot of helpful advice on my post, and I'd just like to update the situation. Smiley face. The day of our trip, my boyfriend showed up to my place at 12:30 with only the prompting I told y'all about in the previous post. So I'm glad that even if he was a bit upset about being strict on the time, he definitely showed up and we ended up leaving early at 12:55. As for his chronic lateness, we did talk about it on the road. After thinking about it, it kind of annoyed me that he was late on my birthday and that he was always a couple of hours late when coming over. I told him that those instances made me feel like he didn't respect my time. He said he was extremely sorry and that he's been having a rough time adjusting to traffic and the fact that it takes a lot of time to get anywhere. We live in a large metropolitan area, but we used to live in the Midwest in the middle of nowhere. So, from calculating commute time, traffic, and him having alone time, he was just having some trouble. We agreed that his lateness was frustrating and came up with the following solution to hopefully fix the problem. On big road trips like this, we will want to leave exactly on time or earlier. We plan to meet at each other's places at least 30 minutes to an hour before we plan to leave to make sure we're on time. On events, like birthdays or outings with friends, he will schedule the event into his phone 30 minutes before he has to be at the event, so that if he forgot or lost track of time until that moment, he has some time to drive and be at the event somewhat on time. When he comes to hang out, instead of just saying I'll be over in an hour because he's a bad ETA estimator, he will say what he plans on doing before coming over so we can both create a better ETA. Example, him. I want to drive home, shower, and pick up groceries before driving to your place. Me, okay, that sounds like that might take about 2 hours including travel time. As for people suggesting ADHD, he says he's unsure of where to go for now, but he may look into it, as he and I have never thought that ADHD could be the cause of this, but the time when he was looking at surfboards when he was supposed to be at our meeting place definitely points to this. Thank you for sharing this point of view. We never would have known. I understand for a lot of people this might have been a breaking point, but honestly, for me, it's one of his only problems. In almost every other aspect of our relationship, he's been nothing but a great boyfriend who loves and supports me in my goals and as a human being. So although I think some of those opinions are kind of extreme, thank you for your point of view because it did help me put my foot down and have this conversation. Edit. I would really like to thank everyone who gave me advice on the ADHD aspect of this. Someone in the comments listed symptoms of their own ADHD, and it sounded exactly like him. I'm also really grateful for all of you who have provided a way to step in a direction to find a diagnosis. We didn't really know where to start, but this whole thread was super helpful. Thank you so much. Before we get to the rest of the best of post, I just want to ask, what flavor of ADHD do you have? Because for me, I have the issue of where if I know I have something during that day, like let's say a meeting at 11, and I wake up at 8 o'clock, I will not be able to get anything done until the meeting is over. Like my body will lock up in fear of missing that I just will not start or do anything else until that time comes. So it sounds like from my understanding, you have two reactions with ADHD. Either you overestimate your ability for arrival time and end up being late to it or just forgetting it altogether, or you lock up and aren't able to do anything until that event comes and goes. Now that we have some history established between these two and how he's such a great boyfriend, let's get on to the best of itself. The meat and potatoes of the best of was posted October 19th, 2025, nearly 4 years after the first Am I the Asshole post was posted. My, 27 female, boyfriend, 29 male, of 7 years, cheated on me. I'm going to disappear from his life. Is there anything I'm missing? I, 27 female, just found out that my boyfriend, 29 male, of 7 years, cheated on me. My boyfriend went to our home state to see his family for the weekend. He's been going quite often this year, about once a month, saying it's because his grandparents are old and miss him. I thought nothing of it until this morning. I got a screenshot from a mutual friend of ours of my boyfriend's location on Snapchat. He was at his parents' house, but a girl's Bitmoji was there as well. It wasn't his sister or mom, and his parents, who weirdly also have Snapchat, weren't home either. He didn't tell me he was going to be with anyone else today. I tried to call him, but he did not pick up. I looked on Snapchat and his location was turned off. The mutual friend says my boyfriend has told everyone at home we had broken up 4 months ago. He said my boyfriend was making him stay quiet about it because he was trying to find the right time to tell me. As far as his parents know, he's moving home once our lease is up. The reason our mutual friend told me was because he walked in on my boyfriend and the girl hooking up with each other this morning. I texted an old friend who lives in my hometown, and she immediately asked me why my boyfriend was on Tinder. We caught up, and she sent me proof. His photos on Tinder and his bio. It hurt to see that photos I took of him were used. He even covered my face in a photo we took together and said, "This could be you." I had no idea his family thought we were broken up and that he was looking for other people to date. We even went to Italy a month ago, celebrating our 7-year anniversary. I'm so confused and I don't know what to do. I look around and everything in our apartment seems like a lie. The soon-to-be ex texted me just now and he's on his flight back. He'll be back in about 5 hours. Obviously, he can find his own way to the apartment from the airport. I'm shocked and numb, but my best friend is with me helping me pack all my clothes. I'm leaving and I'm not leaving a trace of myself behind. Our dog is coming with me, and I'll be staying at my best friend's place for now. My soon-to-be ex and I already have separate bank accounts, and our joint bank account does not have much in it right now. I make more than he does, so he can keep it. I can't go to the leasing office because it's closed on Sundays, but I sent an email asking for an early termination of the lease. We're registered as domestic partners, so I've completed the termination form and we'll drive it up to the LA County office tomorrow. He's on my health insurance. And I've sent the email to HR to kick him off ASAP. We have several large photo albums together, and I'm not sure what to do with those. Keeping them would be too difficult, but I don't want him to have the satisfaction of having our photos. It's clear he uses our memories in a horrible way. Is there anything I'm missing? I can't seem to think of anything, and all my thoughts seem so jumbled. Nothing makes sense, but I know I can't stay. Any help to ghost a person this close to my heart would be appreciated. Top comment, StinkEye63. Take pictures or video of the apartment before you leave so we can't damage it and claim that you did. Update post, October 20th, 2025, the next day. Thank you everyone for all the solid advice. I'm compiling everything I did in the first section, so if others need a way to cut contact with a person, they can reference this. As mentioned in the comments, I logged myself out of our Apple TV and Xbox. I canceled the Wi-Fi that I paid for and returned the modem to the carrier. I took my payment information for utilities off our account. I packed up all my sauces, spices, and cooking oils and took notes to only leave dried rosemary behind. He hates that shit. I printed out and framed the screenshot of his Tinder profile and left it on the kitchen table. I closed a piece of dog poop into the frame as well. I'll keep the photo albums. He can have this. I took a video of the entire apartment after packing up all my things. I left my keys in the mailbox to the leasing office and emailed the leasing office of my departure with the videos of what the apartment looked like prior to locking up. I updated my address for the USPS, vet, hospital, school, work, and my dog's chip. I talked to HR and am in the process of getting him off of my health insurance, changing the benefactor of my life insurance to my parents, if only I could name my dog, and emergency contact. I'm going to the bank to take myself off of the joint account. Fortunately, I'm not worried about my credit as all of our finances have stayed separate, but I'm grateful to those who told me to freeze my credit. I logged out of all devices for all streaming services, social media, and my work, personal, and school email. I blocked him on all social media, chat rooms, and his phone number. I made a doctor's appointment to get STD tested. I'm on my way to an appointment with the county office to terminate our domestic partnership. It's been an incredibly busy 18 hours, but I've had a lot of help from my friends. I haven't been able to sleep either. As far as what happened since he arrived, here's what's up. I already blocked him before he landed. I received many texts and calls from his parents and sister that I did not see. Then, when I noticed his sister calling, I picked up. At first, the call was hostile. She accused me of being some crazy ex-girlfriend that couldn't let her brother go. Funny, since I just packed up and left. She brought up that it had been 4 months and that I needed to move on. I told her that the ex never approached me about breaking up, and that 1 month ago, we celebrated our 7th anniversary and started to plan our wedding. I had no indication he ever wanted to break up. We reset a bit, and she allowed me to tell her my side of the story. I told her he was somewhat distant this year, but he had blamed it on their grandparents being old and wanting to spend more time with them before they died. Turns out, their grandparents have been dead for 2 years. I never met them because my ex claimed they were super racist since the grandpa was a Vietnam War vet. I'm Southeastern Asian. Turns out you can't be racist when you're dead. We ended the call on a positive note, with his sister saying that it was a lot to take in. She said she felt bad as the girl he was cheating on me with was one of her friends. She had introduced them to each other sometime last year when my ex was apparently unhappy with our relationship. They hit it off, and he was supposed to break it off with me. I guess he never had the balls to do so. She was also confused as to why he was on Tinder, as he was in a relationship with her friend. I sent her all the Tinder receipts after hanging up. Later in the night, I received an email from the ex. To sum it up, yeah, he asked me to come to the apartment to talk it out. No, he did not apologize for anything. He ended the email with, "I love you." As far as I know, he doesn't know where I am. I also don't believe he knows where my friend lives, as she just moved and he hasn't been there yet. He also doesn't seem like that type of person, but I guess I didn't really know him after all. We will keep the locks ready and bats near the door. It's been so helpful just writing out everything that's happened so far, but all of your advice, support, and guidance in this situation has made me feel empowered to leave. At times, I just wanted to stop packing and hope that when he came home, everything would go back to normal and the text would just be a distant memory. Your words of encouragement have really helped me follow through and leave. Nothing good would have come from staying. Thank you all again. Edit just added a link in the beginning of the original post. Edit 2. Sorry, I was unclear about the timeline. The parents and sister called me about 2 hours after he landed. I assumed it was because he got home, realized the person paying half of his rent will no longer be doing so, and reached out to his family. The dog poop may have contributed to the heightened emotions. Some of OP's comments. Anon Girl 314159. That's the first couple digits of pi. I took all the spices when I left, not because I could readily use them, but because fuck that guy. Didn't even leave salt and pepper. Editor's note, this and the following comment were left on the original post, but OP replied after her update. OP, I think I took like $300 of spices, oil, sauces, and just everyday cooking stuff. Thank you for this. Maleficent Leak 2943. But whatever he really hates, leave that behind. If he's ever expressed a dislike of celery, salt, or Worcestershire sauce, that needs to be the only thing left in the cupboard, because fuck that guy. OP responds, the dried rosemary was left behind. It's his least favorite flavor. Subtle and incredible. Thank you. Obvious Flax 1886. Logging out doesn't change your passwords. If he happens to know them, he can just log back in or go change them himself. Good point. The passwords will be changed ASAP. User Rosehill Roots comments, I bow to the queen of handling shit. OP responds, honestly, shout out to my dog for shitting at the perfect time to press it into the picture frame. He really was there when I needed him most. To a comment calling everything faked / happened too quickly. If you don't believe that I did what I said I did, that's on you. A lot of it was sending emails and doing stuff online besides physically moving everything, which I did with the help of 3 friends, and putting poop in a picture frame. As for not knowing his grandparents, it's not super relevant to the post why we're not close, but it was because the first 5 years of our relationship, they were no contact. The last 2 years is when they reconciled, probably when his grandparents actually died. Why haven't I gotten to know them better since then? 2 reasons, distance and racism. 1. Though we're both from the same Midwest hometown, his family still lives there. Mine moved away to SoCal, where we live now. To get there, it's 7 hours at the airport with the layover plus 2-hour drive to get to their house. 2. If I like them, the travel time wouldn't be the problem, but his family is racist. I'm Southeastern Asian, and they're old white folks. Since I've met them, they've repeatedly mispronounced my name, call me slurs as a joke, and sometimes pretend I don't speak English. The last time we had dinner was over a year ago, and the main joke of the night was how I was a CCP agent honeypotting their son. I wasn't laughing. We have each other's phone numbers for emergencies, but I'm not chomping at the bit to be reaching out to chat just because. I wasn't going to mend any bridges or whatever, because I'm not going to change how I look or where my parents are from anytime soon. As for why the sister called, Mr. Cheater Pants was mad the woman he cheated on would no longer be paying half the rent, and I guess his sister took it personally. I really don't care. Shrug emoji. OP later clarifies the timeline. We were together for 7 years. The first year and a half, we were good friends that liked each other, but didn't act on it / were bad at communicating feelings. As far as I know, we weren't seeing other people either, but who knows, lol. We began to include it in our overall time together because it seemed right at the time. It's stupid to think of now. Sorry it made you doubt whether this was real, and I already addressed your comment about his grandparents here. Link. And yeah, I was able to do all this in less than a day. I got 3 of my friends to move stuff out of a 500 square foot apartment, so it's not like I had much to move. And not that I have everything completely finished. I'm still waiting to hear back from HR and bank stuff. But do you guys really think that sending out emails and changing passwords and making appointments is that hard? Because that's like 8 of the 13 things that were done online in the middle of the night. And the poop prank took maybe 10 minutes. And I slept maybe an hour on the drive home from the county office. So yeah, I had a lot of time. I don't know. And if you think it's still fake because I keep replying to people, I'm just answering these questions because I'm trying to distract myself from falling into an emotional pit of despair. To a longer comment. Thanks for saying this. Now that things are starting to settle down, I can feel a lot of sadness start to creep in. Maybe it's for him, but I know it's partially for the future I had seen for myself for so long. Now I feel like I don't know what direction forward is, and I feel a bit lost. Someone had suggested counseling, therapy, and before this adrenaline fully leaves, I'll try to schedule that because I'm sure it'll help. I suppose the good thing about not having to plan for a wedding anymore is that I have more money for Lady Gaga tickets. Thank you so much for the kind words and warning of what's to come. I appreciate it. New update. November 3rd, 2025, 2 weeks later. Here's the second update for you guys. I tried to make it into another post, but you're only allowed to post twice in a month on r/relationship advice. I had no idea. Hi everyone. The last couple of weeks have been very difficult. After the dust settled, I lost my steam and was inconsolable for a while. I'm fine, but emotionally this breakup has been very difficult. An update on some of the logistics that I listed in the last update. The lease will be terminated in 15 days. The initial email I sent out was my 30-day notice. I paid a lump sum of 2 months' rent plus prorated rent for 2 weeks. I don't know how, but I didn't need my ex's signature or anything to accomplish this, which I thought was weird, but did not question. I emailed the termination of lease to the ex. My payment information is no longer on utilities, but his is. He will be paying for the utilities if he's still there. I was able to get my ex off my health insurance as U.S. health insurance is currently in the open enrollment period. However, if the timing was worse, like if this happened several months ago, I would have had to wait until open enrollment. Guess I got lucky. This information was emailed to the ex as well. Though the form for termination of domestic partnership has been submitted, it will likely take 5 to 6 months for it to be processed and officially terminated since I don't have him with me to sign it. That's fine by me. As of now, I am not positive for any STDs, but will check again in several weeks as advised by my doctor. The joint bank account was closed. I was not able to take myself off of it without the ex being present, but I was able to close it by myself. I mailed his parents' house the check of everything in there. It was less than $10. After emailing the ex the termination of lease and that he's no longer a dependent on my health insurance, I got a reply from him saying I ruined his life. No apology, not that it would have changed anything. I know a lot of people wanted more information about his family and him, but I haven't reached out to them or answered when they reached out to me. I just don't have the heart for it. But my parents did. My dad did get a call from the ex. The ex told them I kicked him out of the apartment, untrue as he still had his keys, and that he wouldn't have access to his meds anymore due to not being on my insurance. True. He created a sob story about his grandparents' death being hard on him, and that I wasn't there to support him in that time. Somehow this was an excuse to being unfaithful, but he wanted to work it out with me. Both my parents speak English just fine, but said, "Sorry, we speak no English," and hung up. Kudos to his racist parents for inspiring my dad. None of us have heard from him since. I will say I'm extremely lucky. I have a job and am financially stable, though paying the termination fees and whatnot was difficult. I know I'll be okay in the long run. I'm also very lucky my non-romantic relationships have kept me afloat, though the last couple of weeks have been some of the hardest in my life. My best friends, family, and even coworkers have been there to support me. I've also started therapy, which I'm also lucky to have access to. I'm so thankful to all of you who shared your advice in the comments and who have reached out to me to make sure I'm doing well. The support I've gained from this community and my own community shows me I didn't really lose that much in this breakup. Instead, I've gained so much. It's been difficult to mourn the future I thought I would have, but as time has passed, I realized that future wasn't that great in the first place. I likely won't post again for a while, partially because of the 2-post limit, but also because even in 2 weeks, nothing much has happened, and I want to focus more on moving on. I hope if you're in a similar situation, you also have the strength to leave. Ah yes, gotta love the excuse of "you ruined my life." No, buddy, you did. You ruined it by telling everyone that you broke up with her 4 months ago so you could bang your sister's friend while also being on Tinder. That's on you. No one else made you do that. Like, you're the one who hit yourself in the shins with the aluminum bat and you're blaming those around you. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.